And
I mean, there's things you can criticize, I would say, but I think the dumbest criticism. Oh, I don't want to be mean, but like the most thoughtless criticism.
Say it. Do it.
I mean,
Do it.
yeah, like it's stupid. You're stupid idiots for thinking that it's taking too long.
Good.
Like,
let the hate flow through you.
Wait a minute. Are you Emperor?
I'm a
Am I
Sith
Luke
Lord.
Skywalker? Or are you just?
I'm just,
are you just like
yeah.
Chancellor Palpatining me right now?
Yeah, man. Just do it. Let the hate flow through you.
Welcome to Around the Corn, presented by the Knights Guild. If you're new to our show, thank you for tuning in. Our podcast is in its infancy, but we are ever evolving. So please like and subscribe. We really appreciate that, and it helps us grow. If you want to hear us speculate wildly on something in-game, throw your questions in the comments, and next episode, we'll pretend to know the answer. What could go wrong with that? Follow us on X and make sure you check out the Knights Guild there as well. You can learn a ton about the Knights Guild on Discord and the Guild website. All the links you need are in the description. I'm your host, Faux Hubris. As always, I'm joined by the man Warren Buffett goes to for NFT advice, Eddy Z. Eddy, tell the people what we got for them today.
That was a good one.
He's there talking about NFTs. He's like, he knows all about him, and he's coming to you for it. Anyways,
he's like,
what do you got for the people today, buddy?
So I talked to this guy. His name is Eddy Z. He's really knowledgeable about NFTs. Yeah.
Oh my God, who knew you did a Warren Buffett impersonation? That's incredible. I had no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's easy. I feel like that's an easy one.
All right,
no, but yeah, we got lots to talk about. It's we got the marketing push on Kopi Cafe. We got a clip from Late Game Crypto. Shout out to Josh. The greatest meme minute of all time.
It's the greatest meme minute of all time. I can't wait.
And also, we'll talk about the Mythic Halocash hunting.
Yeah, we're gonna do that right now. We're up here. That's the one we're gonna go for down there.
Yeah, down below. Yeah. So
cool, man. How was your week? Everything going good? I know you've had a lot going on, busy week, but
yeah, it's been a busy week. Some ups and downs, but overall, I'm in a good place right now. So far so good.
So far so good. Yeah, I'm having a busy one too, but it's excited to be playing the game, doing my thing. My computer's coming back soon, so we'll get that. Do some racing, try to actually beat you, and that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great because then right now, obviously, we're using my gaming image. And I can't wait for us to be able to flip-flop between both.
Yeah, flip-flop. It'll be awesome to be able to just go back and forth.
Yeah.
So this is a big Kopi Cafe, right? Like it was.
Oh, yeah. This is good. This is a great one. I really enjoyed everything that was said. I was just like nodding. I was pumped. It was a great Kopi Cafe.
Yeah, let's talk about it while we're trying to get this holocash. I'll race you for it. Okay. So you have to multitask. You have to talk about the Kopi Cafe and race. All right. So here you go. 1, 2, 3, go.
All right. Let's do it. But yeah, one of my favorite things about it was the fact that I like the change in roles for Matt and him. Oh crap, him taking on the marketing director role. That's actually pretty dope.
Yeah, Josh kind of said that they acknowledge that there's been a gap in their marketing, and I think he said something along the lines of like, oh man, I missed.
Yeah, I got it.
Something along the lines of there's maybe not much value or as much value as marketing during the bear market, which makes sense. There are a lot of people in the bear market that were looking for things to buy, but I understand when you're trying to, kind of decide where you put your resources, wanting to spend the money during, man, I'm never going to get this thing during the bull market.
You got this.
And I understand that. And I think I like the idea that Matt's like really going to be working on like focusing messaging, because he did say that this game is really hard to boil down into like good sound bites, that's like always the challenge of really good marketing is taking something complex and being able to distill it down into something digestible in a short period of time, because you only have people's attention for so long. If they're tuning into a podcast and they're listening to you and doing an interview, you probably only really have their attention for the first couple of questions, and then you don't know where they're going to go. So having these ready-made kind of sound bites that you can, if someone asks you a question about the game loop, well, you have these 4 pre-approved sound bites of how to describe the game loop, then you're going to be able to message so much better. And I really like that from Matt.
I think that's actually pretty cool. I mean, I agree with everything you said, and just to kind of go touch base on a little bit on what he's done. Right, he actually was the one and did the whole corn points, kind of making everything more.
Well, that's been a huge success, I
Yeah,
think, the new corn point system.
because it's able to organically build the community. I think it's actually good. I'm always in there. I hate when I miss my time, and I think I'm at 18 days straight right now. So thank goodness. But
Well,
I'm
but those points that you get for engagement now. So I've engaged with everything that they've told me to engage with. But this is a classic me where I only read half the instructions before I start putting something together. So I didn't know I was supposed to click on that green little box to get those engagement points. So like I didn't get anything.
no, no.
I know. So
I
now
missed.
I feel like I'm so far behind.
Yeah, I missed the one engage. I forget which one it was, but I was kind of upset about it because I didn't realize I'm not a my mornings are typically pretty busy, so I can't even I can't. I guess I missed one morning one. I'm trying to get on that crane. By the way, you know how to get on that crane that's right in front of me?
That one right there.
Yeah, because there's if you go down below you, I want to get on the roof of that hangar over there because there's another mythic right there. Trying
Well,
to,
the roof, the hangar.
yeah, where it's not a hangar, but this roof over
Yeah.
here. Over here, there's another mythic over
I'm
there.
sure someone will be like going crazy yelling at us watching this because they know exactly where to
Oh,
go.
the people who are who've completed all this already. Going back to Matt, he was they talked about or what he's going to be, some of the things that he's going to be focused on, and one of that was just accelerating the lore, which I'm really excited about. And it's going to be done through in some sort of interactive way, which I think that's actually one of the better way to do things. I've seen successes on other projects that involve the community in terms of the lore, or just any sort of activity. Like I think there was stuff like Mallard Order did some stuff like that.
You know way more projects than I ever will. Like
I
I
know the
am
Freedom
pretty
35ers talk
monogamous
about
when
it.
it comes to cornucopias. Like that's my one true love.
Oh no, you're on the thing. Yeah. And so I feel like that's a good thing about that they're going to be releasing the lore. I mean, hell, even Josh talked a lot about marketing agencies through ETH
I thought
contracts.
it was interesting about those marketing agencies really quickly that
Hmm.
when he said that they were gonna, so he talked about ETH Denver and he
Hmm.
talked about the marketing firm they hired there, and my first reaction was like, "What are you talking about? You already hired a marketing firm. You mentioned it a bunch of times."
Hmm.
But he pointed out that there are a difference, right? Like one was what he called like found media, where like you go, they get you on these podcasts, and they get you in these interviews and things like that, and that's what the Waxman group one is.
Okay.
And then the person they were talking to in ETH Denver is more like paid advertising where you're going to have to shell out cash to and so that's their specialty. And so then it made sense to me. Yeah, of course, like one specializes in A and the other one specializes in B, and you really need to hit both if you're going to do a marketing push. Like they say, you want that kind of free advertising, quote unquote free. I mean, there's probably some cost to it, but like where you're doing those interviews and those podcasts and getting on more and more kind of prestigious or well-watched programs, where maybe not us with our like 100 and something subscribers, but there are people out there that are doing stuff with 100,000 subscribers. And hopefully that Waxman group can get Rob and Josh and some of those, because that, will pay great dividends.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that they're adding on. I think it's just another agency that they're adding on, which is on the ETH side. Because I think I saw some stuff on the Discord. It says that this game has started on ETH, like, and I think there was like something about like where that particular person wouldn't acknowledge anything unless they were on the ETH network. So I think there's also that going on around, and I think that's just another hurdle that not just Cornucopias has to deal with it,
Yeah.
and it's not a Cornucopias issue. I think it's just a Cardano issue.
Do you think
It's a
that
crypto
tribalism
community.
right there though, like I don't want to talk to any project that's not on ETH. Do you think that the fact that Cornucopias has started on Cardano is going to prohibit those kind of people from even hearing it, even though it's chain agnostic and
Hmm.
they're on BNB, they're on Ethereum, and if you believe Late Game Crypto's video, if you haven't watched it, you should definitely check it out.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he definitely was saying things along the lines of there are more chains coming, and he couldn't
yeah.
say
He
what,
knew
but
another chain that was coming through.
yeah.
Yeah, I tried to. I
So
commented on that. I'm like, which one, man? Like
yeah,
which one?
if you had to bet, which one do you think it is?
I kind of want to say Soul. It seems like
I
the
know, it's funny. I
easiest
want
one
it to
to.
be Sol, but Sol is like evil Cardano.
Yeah,
So like,
I'm not I've never been a fan of Sol. I mean, I'm a fan of crypto, so don't get me wrong. I
yeah,
want crypto to succeed, and I don't think there should be any sort of tribalism between different cryptos. But I think Sol is just it's not there. It's VC funded. They just rushed into everything, and they're talking so much that the community just likes to think they're the best, right? And everybody community thinks they're the best. Even Cardano has
yeah,
people
sure,
in there as well, but I feel like all of that fighting is just meant for nothing. I mean, I believe the technology is brilliant. Everybody knows about it. It's just
yeah,
I think it's just VC funded, and it's just like that's really where it comes from. It's just the
right.
fact that it's VC funded. They're gonna talk crap about Cardano. They don't want to mention it. It's just I'm just annoyed by it more than anything. Is
But
this the, oh
I
you
mean,
you
so you
found it?
say all
Yeah.
that, right? But like, in
Right.
terms of like the progression of the game, what network would be better than Sol? Like if you're on BNB, you're on Cardano, and you're on Ethereum. What other network was you going to say? Algorand? Like, I mean, sure, that would be nice, but I mean, people are not talking about Algorand like they're talking about Solana, right? So
Yeah.
like, I'd never make that jump that you just made.
What?
You made on the first try.
Yeah. Just make it.
You know, I mean, the more obviously more the better. I don't think there's really anyone that has more reach than Solana at this point. So like,
Yeah.
if they're gonna go for the most bang for their buck, it would seem like Solana would be it to me.
And I think that's where, and I mean it kind of it goes back to follow the money. I mean that's kind of where this
Right.
is coming from, right? I mean you can't argue that Solana and ETH and even stuff like XRP are just in the money. I mean
Yeah.
I can't argue with that, and it does I don't care. I mean I still think that Cardano's ADA is still in my eyes superior to it, and I feel like in the long term, and maybe even in the midterm, like you'll probably people will start seeing that. Yeah, I think you. Oh shoot, I missed it. I think you're launching from the left
I don't
too
know.
far to the
I don't know
left.
what I'm doing, buddy. I'm just running around like a happy
Yeah,
child.
I fell on the other side. I got a little bit too confident, and I fell on the other end. I was about to get that mythic one. Um, but yeah, no, I just feel like follow the money. It's just that's just a real thing. Obviously, it's a real thing, and it's just
Yeah.
I I don't. I think the technology of Cardano is just personally just a little bit more superior. Just
And
it's
I
slower,
don't think
100%
yeah.
slower. I mean, that's the one
Yeah.
thing, right? I mean, that's just. I think the fees are going to be the deciding factor, and I think ETH can't handle that, in my opinion.
But I think people forget there's a reason that people are not trusting a Solana, and they deserve that, right? Like that Solana has reasons for you not to trust them, and it doesn't mean we can't trust them in the future. It
Hmm.
just means that it's going to take time for a lot of people to be like, okay. And I've moved my dial on Solana, like from where I was like a year ago
Hmm.
to where I am now. Like if you even mentioned the word Solana to me, I would be like, oh well,
No.
oh man, I failed. Big easy jump, and I failed. I blame Solana for that. If we weren't talking about Solana, this wouldn't have happened.
Oh man, it's that's what happened to me too. Though yeah, I just ran out and just jumped off. No, but I understand what you mean. I actually, it's funny that you say that you just or you put Solana on your target. Not Solana for me, but I had owned ETH like a year and a half ago, and I sold it all, and I just was like, there was something off about it. That's just my thing.
Yeah,
But like I actually recently went and got added USDC through the base network just to kind of understand that process literally today. Just so I went through the motion, added the base network to my MetaMask wallet, which I'm not a fan of MetaMask, but there's really so
right.
far
Yeah.
nothing out there that it just sucks because I'm not a fan of MetaMask at all. I really don't
I
like it.
famously once said that I would rather keep my crypto in my mattress than on MetaMask.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just I'm upset about that. I might have to try at some point import that to some other wallet if I can, but for now I just wanted to understand because I also want to be prepared in case there is an ETH mint.
Yeah.
Like and not just
Right.
not
Yeah.
that's not a
I've been
node,
thinking
that's
about
not
that
a
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a node mint because I'm set with nodes, but I want to
Yeah.
make sure that I'm prepared enough to be like, okay, well I have my USDC, it's in the base network, it's in my MetaMask, and I'm ready to go if I ever need it. So I do have at least 200
How did I miss that?
USDC. Did you jump from the Oh, so you're
The
supposed to
crane.
jump onto this light right here that I'm look at me.
Oh, I
This
jump from the crane. I got to jump on
yeah.
the light first.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
wanna jump on the
Yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, I don't know. We kind of went off on a bunch of
Yeah,
tangents as
sorry.
we're prone to do, but like we're like let's see if we can figure out our way back to the whole marketing thing.
Yeah, going
I'll
back
talk about Solana and crypto and on the whole thing all day.
yeah,
So
we went way on that tangent for that. But I mean, there's also what going back to what Matt's gonna be focusing on, things that he listed, multi-language marketing, right?
yes, that
Which I
was a
thought
big thing too. Yeah,
huge. I 100% agree. Like it's basically what's being done now, just multiply it based on the amount of languages that are out there. I mean, that's
yeah,
not significant ones, Japanese, and also he was talking about different countries in Africa. Couldn't even tell you what other what the languages are in Africa, but yes, for 100% agree with that. Also Spanish. I mean, if Spanish, I'm Spanish, and I also think I'm not the best in terms of translating. I mean, though I do it all the time with me and my mother, but it's something that I definitely think that it's a niche that has to be tackled
yeah.
in.
Well, there's just something to be spoken to for like to be talked to in your own language, right? Like
Yep,
you you can't. I mean, that's like almost like a marketing in of itself. It's almost like saying like we care enough about
100%.
you Germans and you know whatever Asian country you're from and whatever Asian language you're speaking, you know South America. This is truly a game for all of you, and we're willing to do the time and put in the effort to speak to you in your language. I mean, if you're ever in like a meeting with the Knights Guild and you hear multiple people talking, there's 3 American accents and then there's 18 other different countries accents, right? So we are a global game, we are a global community, and if you really believe that, then you have to market in other languages, and I was really happy to hear that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a must. He also brought up the influencer network, which is about making sure that people say the proper verbiage, right? Just making sure that there's an execution point on that.
Yeah.
Just
I'm tired of hearing the word cornucopia,
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like
Cornucopias
yeah.
and copy.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
have
got
never heard copy, but, like, I could see someone messing that up.
yeah, I agree. It's just, I mean, yeah, people, all these acronyms, all these names, you just never know. You can always get it wrong, and it's just, yeah, it's just good to make sure it's just a,
I missed
no,
I'm so riveted by the conversation
no.
that I can't jump.
Let's see. One thing that I really liked about continuing on with the influencer network was the fact that he talked about an affiliate link at the player account level, which would they
Can
would
you
pay out.
explain if there's an affiliate link and someone clicks on that link and they're making money for cornucopias, what exactly
How would that
are
would
they
look like?
clicking on?
Someone were to be onboarded by us because
Right.
they clicked the link, and at some
But
point that
onboarded to what, Eddie? Like onboarded to
to the game.
Discord, onboarded to the game? I'm
Yeah,
not
to the
sure. I
game.
wasn't
To
clear on
yeah,
that.
well, and that's probably to come. I don't think they're. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't go into
Okay.
detail,
So
but I mean,
yeah.
my own theory would be whether it be because again we're talking revenue. So like maybe
Right.
if
Yeah.
that particular person clicked on a link that maybe leads to them creating a profile because that's probably the only way they're going to be able to track
Yeah.
any sort of revenue being produced by that because by that link, right? Is the person has to have signed up, gone to Discord, bought an asset, maybe bought an NFT or whatever, and
Right.
that's kind of where that comes from. How every maybe also there's an affiliate link that also just gives you it's like a multi link where you go to that link and it has you can buy merch, the Cornucopias merch.
Right.
So I mean,
Because
again,
like because it wasn't to me it wasn't as simple as click link put in credit card buy, right? Like that's how most affiliate links I think work. If you're like, start trading on blah 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 blah, and they click the link and they open an account and they deposit whatever, you would know. But for I was like trying to figure it out for Cornucopias, and I feel like it's like quite a few steps from the affiliate link to that. I'm sure they know how they're going to do it. I just
yeah,
don't know how they're going to do it.
yeah,
So like
I think it's one for me. It's one of the. I mean, I understand why you'd want to know. For me, it's more like said, like, oh, we're doing that. Great. Like, I don't need to
I
know
think
how
it's
it
great.
works. I just
Yeah,
need to know that it's happening. How they're
yeah,
tracking it, I'll let the numbers guy handle that. Right. Like that's why we have an accountant to handle that, and
yeah,
and Matt to worry about that. And it's just the fact that that's how they're going to do it. Now, how they're going to do it, they'll let us know. I'm sure there's got to be a lot of data that they got behind
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's for, crypto, or
I mean, we're
obviously
in the
it's,
data age, right?
yeah,
They're going to be able to
exactly.
figure out, how. I think it's interesting. All of this for like Web3 gaming, like how it's all going to come together with like, the affiliate links
Ooh,
and the influencers and everybody and how it all. I mean, it all feeds into one another. I'm here for it,
yeah.
and I want to know every detail. I want to understand it all.
Yeah, and the good thing is that eventually, influencers. I mean, and again, they're aiming for, and I know we're labeled as influencers, so I'm not even sure if we'll be part of that group. But like, I would expect that they want influencers that have a significant following that's like at least like 10,000
Yeah,
to 50,000 followers, and then eventually, once everything's solidified and automated, they were going to release it to the everyday community person. So that everybody,
yeah,
if there's a streamer out there, if anybody out there wants to onboard their friends or whatever, and I don't know
right.
where they just, hey, there's an affiliate link. Use this link to go through it, and if this happen, you happen to make revenue for the company, you get a percentage of that. I love that, actually.
But it does definitely incentivize influencers to talk about cornucopias, right? Like you
100%.
can almost imagine a whole flood of new videos coming out
Yeah.
because like if you have if you've worked hard for like 100,000 followers and stuff like that, you really don't want to make probably content that isn't gonna make you money because you've put in all this effort to build the following. I can totally see bigger YouTubers being all about, using that affiliate link and I went to the wrong spot, right?
Yeah, I was gonna chase you down. That's basically, in a nutshell, that's basically some stuff that he's gonna be working on.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was also, I mean, there are a few other things. Like, oh yeah, one thing that I thought was really cool, and I think I've kind of been, I really like it, especially for some people like us creating content, free content, if you will, for Cornucopias, is the fact that they're going to have what is otherwise known as like a public library of content, where
Mm.
it's going to be like stuff like
Oh
gameplay
yeah.
videos,
Yeah.
fonts, musics from Seven, and
Well,
logos.
that needs to happen because I've seen I still see people on Twitter using old pictures from Cornucopias back with like UE4
Yeah.
pictures and videos and I'm like where are they getting this stuff? Like I mean there's so much newer stuff. Do you remember I remember Crypto RS kind of talked about cornucopias for like 5 minutes one day and he was like and he put on like the old video and he's like, yeah, I guess this is a triple A rated game. I don't really know. Well, of course it
Yeah.
didn't look triple A rated, dude. You're looking at a year old. Oh my god, I know.
Yeah, there you go. Third time's a charm, man. There you
Yeah,
go.
like the 99 times. We're like, all right, well, to be continued next episode. Faux Huber is trying to make one jump.
Hey man, we did it. That's all that
Yeah,
matters. Oh shoot. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I like all this. I like the holocaust chasing around. I mean, I didn't get them
yeah.
all yet, but this is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, so that was something they talked about too. In the Kilby Cafe was the hires, and I thought the most important hire that they talked about was the back end guy doing all the APIs because if you're gonna have a game where there's rewards and monetary rewards and things like that, you can't have someone figure out how to hack it and just like be able to go into like their folder and kind of screw with the data and give themselves all the holocaches.
Yeah, that would be. I would be upset about that for sure. Like,
Yeah.
so hopefully they can get all the kinks on out on that for sure. That'd be
I
upsetting.
mean, if you're gonna have like all these leaderboards, it needs to all be stored somewhere that no
Yeah,
user can access it.
yeah.
So that's good.
I also
But they
really,
also talked about
yeah.
the artistic hires, which they
Hmm.
said they had 3 artistic hires. So that's like 300% more people working on Solace and creating and making sure all the land is there and it's ready to go. So like that's really exciting, I think.
Yeah, I think it's also just in general, like the fact that Rob, I think, summed it up to about 42 total people in their staff. That's insane. That's awesome. I think that's,
Yeah.
and I keep I mean, I keep stressing it. I've said it on Discord and I said it on here that I'm one of the things that I've also been worried about was just making sure that they have, they have, I mean, this game is huge. I mean, I don't think
Yeah. It's
people
like 1,000-person
understand
job and they're doing it in like
how,
40 people.
yeah, that's what I don't think people understand is how,
Yeah.
like, with the world, and we're just in this little like this like storage hangar right now. Like, this is like one
Yeah.
piece of it, and there's so much more to come. Like with Solace, the 3 Solaces, the 3 Fortunes, the 3 Esperanzas, and the racing. And I mean, and with 42 people plus, I mean, yeah, maybe up to 60 because they also do have outside contracted hires. But I mean, it's insane. And then the fact that, I mean, I even suggested, hey, like, should probably do some sort of, there should be wind incorporated with like Solace, because when we were in Solace, the Taste of Solace, there is no like wind animation so far. But yeah, they're like, yeah, we got this. So like, again, it's one of those things, like, even I'm being maybe just a little bit too picky, on my end, because like, I want this, I want that. It's like, yeah, they're like, yeah, we got you, man. We got you. It's part of it, man. What do you think this is?
Well, so, I mean, I think Josh did kind of like clap back a little bit at people who have been, kind of complaining about this isn't perfect and this is taking too long.
One right here?
I think anyone who has a criticism that this isn't perfect and this is taking too long is insane, right?
Yeah.
First off, find me one complex programming job that ever was done on time, right? I think people don't understand the purpose of deadlines. You set aggressive deadlines, right? Knowing that you won't meet them, but because there'll be too many bugs and it'll take too long to fix those bugs. But you send the aggressive deadline because if you set a less aggressive deadline, then it just pushes it off anyways, right? Like, so like no matter what you do, it's human nature. Okay, you have 6 months to complete this. Well, how hard you work to complete it in 6 months is probably less hard than you would have if you only had 5 months to complete it. And so you set these aggressive deadlines, you do the best you can to meet it. But if you don't, it's still, I mean, that's what programming is. There's not a project out there that doesn't have these bugs that they have to fix, and all the bugs take much longer to fix than they realize. That's just human nature, to be positive, to try to come up with aggressive deadlines and meet them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's things you can criticize, I would say, but I think the dumbest criticism. Oh, I don't want to be mean, but like the most thoughtless criticism.
Say it. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, like it's stupid. You're stupid idiots for thinking that it's taking too long.
Good. Let the hate flow through you.
Wait a minute. Are you Emperor?
I'm a Sith Lord.
Are you just?
I'm just
like Chancellor Palpatining me right now?
Yeah, man. Just do it. Let the hate flow through you.
Eddie, I got something special for you today. I know we say this every week with the Meme Minute, but Kopi Unicorn has done something beyond even comprehension. He's kind of teamed up with our guy Seven here, and this isn't even a meme. He made a music video. So Get ready for Kopi Unicorn's Meme Minute. It's Kopi Unicorn's meme music video.
Welcome to a world where the sky is no longer the limit.
Cornucopias.
Check it, we are the corn. Got a bubble jet rarer than a unicorn. I am here to warn, better not step on my lawn, or you will find yourself in an island storm. Let's go, and keep walking. We got the vest on. We on a quest to becoming the best. The Mafia Nest up in the West Zone. Flying 80 and a 25, shoving the gear into overdrive. You wanna learn how to stay alive, you better hide when we arrive. Rolling up in the cornfields, chilling like a villain with some corn on the grill. Grab yourself a corn beer, you can have a couple. Hey, there's a corn party going on in Seven's bubble. Let's go. So if you need to be scratching that itch, I am the one that be watching on Twitch. Gonna be streaming like every day. Up in that cornucopia, there is no escape. Corn nap you like I'm Tony Soprano. You can never match us. We the best. We are the Cardano. I am the corn father. We grow broccoli and lettuce, and garden potatoes, gigantic tomatoes. When it thunders and rains, getting hungry brains like it's the Hunger Games. Let's go. Every day I be sticking at Kopi, playing them games and winning them trophies. Homie, I am a wild coyote. Every time I sing karaoke, can't nobody do it better than us. No, there is not a thing left to discuss. We will leave you lying down the dust. In Kopi we trust.
Kopi we trust. Wow, dude, that is like gonna be my favorite thing that I think Kopi Unicorn could ever do. I think that every week, and then yet every week he tops it.
Yeah, I think that was brilliantly done. I think my favorite part for sure was that burger flip, man. That thing was hilarious with Seven and Scott. It wasn't
Kopi
or
Boar.
Steve. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the Kopi Boar one. Yeah, yeah, with the
Yeah.
itch. The,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, what you're talking about was Steve
where
and
they
the burger flip
burger
with
flip.
Steve,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then Kopi Boar was watering the broccoli.
Yo, that's. I think yeah, the Kopi Unicorn is a brilliant man.
I think Kopi Unicorn might
hilarious.
be the next community team hire because that guy is special, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what else did you see you're talking about the first person shooter game. Like there was
Yeah.
those old clips from that game that were in
I
that.
think that's right there. Yeah, we were talking about that last week for sure about that. I want a game, the game to launch. Hopefully, not right away. Right. I'm just saying that I feel like a game should have a shooter, like especially something that's closer to launch. Like it doesn't have to be at launch. I mean, obviously they're most focused on Solace and Esperanza and all that, but I do think that another thing, if they're talking about bringing the masses to the game, not just the builders and the people from Minecraft and the people from Valheim, but also the people from the Call of Duty, Fortnite community. I mean, they want to bring
Yeah.
those people. The what was that one other one called? Valorant.
Starts with
Valorant.
oh yeah.
So there's Valorant, and even those people. So like I think that like the graphics looked great. I love the armor on that one guy. It looked like he was a juggernaut looking guy, right? He just used like a jump pad, which is really sick. I mean, the laser guns looked impressive. So I think they have something already set. It also sort of made me think about how on me myself, what kind of a game type could I create in terms of me having my own
Mhm.
custom dome, right? Because that's
Yeah.
kind of like would be a developer kit maybe that people would be able to create their own game types and be able to have a certain entry to play it.
You know what's crazy is that that footage from that first person shooter I think was pre UE5. I mean, I don't know like
Yeah.
how that works. If it was that's probably not game footage because they don't have a first person shooter yet, so it's probably just like game video footage, right? Or like, but it still looks pretty good. I think it's kind of essential a game like that for the economy because it gives you're going to need bullets and you're going to need armor and you're going to need gear and you're going to use those things every time you play, right? You you know, or whatever energy source, like maybe genesium is the powering your weapons or whatever. And so you're going to need, it's going to give you a reason to spend gold or spend Kopi on the game. And you're going to need people spending Kopi, gold, USD or whatever on the game for people to be able to, be able to sell their crafted goods.
Yeah, I think that I can't wait to see more of the. I think Josh called it more of the macroeconomics of the game versus the micro. I really wanted to see the overall just on how that works. I'm really glad that they brought in someone else, like I guess some sort of economic person that they added to the team in terms of looking at how their economy is going to be driven. They brought up your question, actually, right? So they brought up your question in the Kopi Cafe, which I don't even think they even realized that they did, right? But my whole thing was like, I know you were more focused on trying to talk about
So
the
I asked the
economy of it.
question. I tried to ask an economy question and pretend it was a game question, right? Because like for like the last 4 weeks, I've been asking about the economy, like asking about because I remember last summer. Remember they talked about they hired a firm to do simulations on the economy in one of the Kopi cafes. They talked to they hired a firm that was going to simulate to run simulations because if you're going to have
okay.
a complex in-game economy, you have to make sure like, well, what if somebody buys all the wood and then or like tries to buy all the ore or something, right? Like you need to try all these extreme examples of what could happen in the economy to make sure that the whole game can still function because if the in-game economy is a huge part of the game and then it breaks down, then you don't even have a game, right? So they hired this firm to do that. So I was trying to ask them
in your own
I
way.
understand the supply side of the economy. The supply side is like you're going to get materials and you're going to craft things and those craft things are going to have value, right? But I wanted to try to understand is where does the demand come from? Is it coming from raiding? Is it coming from like I need to defend my land? Do you need to protect your land from predators or from other players in the game? Can you attack my land? Can you take my resources if I'm not paying attention or if I'm not well defended enough? What's going to cause me to go out and spend money on something that somebody has crafted. And so like I tried to ask it, and they're like, and I you know, it was a long question. I do
Yeah,
tend to be long-winded,
I,
so I can really appreciate that.
yeah.
But
I think they focused more so on the gameplay itself. I mean, I know Matt and them all basically said that there's going to be stuff to do, right? In terms of fighting, there are threats, and I get it. So they kind of half answered your question, and they
yeah,
didn't really deep dive into the economics portion, which maybe who knows, maybe they might have would have also hit a roadblock in answering that question just because they would have to really
right.
dig deep into the nitty
They
gritty of
seem like
the
they've
details
been
of.
reluctant to talk the economy because I think probably because they're not ready to, and so I understand. I mean, I understand that, but it's
Yeah,
my job
yeah.
as a person who's excited about the game to try to figure it out,
And
right?
I also think like in terms of like being a free to play game, I can understand where you're coming from as well. Like in terms because there has to be at some point, right? Yeah, it's a free to play game, but it's also again there is a Web3 component to it, so there's got to be some sort of you know limitations to the free to play game. I mean, you can play the
Yeah,
game, you can still have fun and do whatever you want. You don't have to participate in any of the money making avenues that this game's going to have. So I think that's the difference, right? But you could become a builder and mine your own weapons and have maybe build only your one sword for yourself, and you're like, hell yeah, that's it for me. I'm going to complete the story, I'm going to complete the game, and that's it. And then you move on to a different game. Or you could be the guy that actually is going to be the miner who makes a hundreds or 300 sword of this unique high level
yeah,
sword, and you're selling it for Kopi for like 10 Kopi a pop, and because
yeah,
there's like maybe every now and again, and again there's also a limit to how many plots there are. So there's going to be, and there's variations of these buildings too, of what they do, whether you're going to be like a clothing person, or a blacksmith, or a person who provides mounts, right? Like horses. So
yeah.
like, I mean, I feel like there's going to be a significant amount of variations of what you can do with your land plots. And again, even the size of the land plots won't, like like imagine if you're a person who does do mountain horses, you're only going to be able to have it to a certain level because that building doesn't fit into a small or a medium, or even, but I mean, I guess you could do it in a large, but based on what we know, there's got to be limitations to that. So only the copious and the epics are going to have significant level upgrades in terms of whatever you're
Yeah.
trying to craft, right? And trying to into your niche, into the economy as well. So I think there is a lot to come. There's so many unknowns. Obviously, this is all speculation, right? So we don't
I
even know
think
what's
the
going on.
economy is the biggest unknown at this point.
Right.
Like we've been getting trickles about the lore, but like the economy remains the big, for at least from my point of view, the biggest dark square in the whole puzzle.
Yeah, and speaking of the economy, like one of the things right here for me is like what I'm looking at right here is just like I didn't even notice until just now while we were traversing through the world here that Neo
The
Tokyo's
advertisements.
promotion, yeah, and that's again they made it so subtle. I didn't even know that this was here. Maybe they pointed
I
it
mean,
out at some point in time.
it's like the biggest,
Yeah,
brightest, not subtle, most
yeah,
subtle sign ever.
right. Like it's so out there. And again, this is the magic that I think is
Yeah.
great, and this is an example of what's to come.
One thing that I think is really smart about the economy, and they haven't said this yet, but like if you think about all the factors that go into the economy, right? Obviously, you have the supply and demand, right? Those two sides of it, but there's a third component of it, and that's time, right? How much time does it take you to collect X amount of ore and Y amount of wood and all the other resources you need to build something, right? If you know are just going like mining, I use World of Warcraft because that's what I'm familiar with. But if I was
Mhm,
to go mine some more, I'd hop on my mount. I know where all the ore places spawn. I go find them and I have my ore in 15 minutes, right? But
mhm.
you won't be able to do that in this game because it's not easy. So if it takes you 45 minutes to mine some ore, that's the third component of it, and that I think helps create scarcity in the game. That's going to be a big challenge for this, is that you're going to have lunatics like me and you that are going to be happy to play for 10 hours and farm a bunch of stuff, but it takes me 45 minutes to get per ore. Well, now it's like, okay, well, how much am I going to really be able to like change the supply in the game? Not a lot, because it took so much time. So I think that's a really smart move on the team to make it challenging for the mining. And I assume that's going to be the same way for chopping down wood. It sounds like that when you're chopping down wood, the real risk there is like you could be attacked by some like animal, like some bear could come along and try to maul
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah, I thought that was
Fishing is
funny.
probably going to be challenging too. So
Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty funny. I'm sure there's other stuff. I mean, that they're alluding to, right, in terms of what other threats there are. That's why they kind of said threats, right? Because they don't want to really just say it's just going to be animals, but it could be some other
yeah.
thing that we don't even know
Well,
about.
the only thing that I've heard is quantum. I've heard the word quantum. Well, before, do you want to let's play that clip from
Okay.
Josh's video, Late Game Crypto. If you guys are not subscribed to Josh, aka Late Game Crypto, you're really making a mistake because he's outside of Kopi Cafe. And excluding us because we're the greatest whoever did it, but like excluding us, Josh has got, I think, the best channel out there. I mean,
100%.
it's not just like cornucopia stuff. It's all Cardano all the time. So like, anyways, here's a little clip from his video.
Within the Cornucopias universe, this team has sort of invented a couple of new in-game elements, and those elements are called Genesium and Quantisite. Unlike a lot of other MMOs, Cornucopias is planning on making the mining portion of this game rather challenging. So both of these elements are gonna be like the top tier, hardest types of elements to obtain. Historically speaking, in real life, mining has been a pretty dangerous line of work, but a lot of MMOs implement it as a game mechanic like it's just no big deal. In my view, that kind of also impacts the crafting elements of a game because the labor that it takes to create something, to build something, kind of doesn't really have that same feel of like accomplishment and challenge with it.
Yeah, so it seems like Josh is pretty much in agreement with what we were saying there. I feel almost like maybe I thought it was my original thoughts, but now I'm thinking like maybe I just heard Josh say it and then I kind of co-opted his thoughts as my own. So
Repeating what he
yeah,
said, right? Yes. Stealing his
But
ideas. No, I'm kidding.
but I guess the one thing that I'd never had heard before was what was the in Genesium, but there was the other word that I forgot what it was.
Quantisite.
Quantisite, yeah, that's it.
Quantisite, yes.
Yeah.
Which is what's so funny? Like I found an image that I don't ever remember seeing because I was looking recently at the Cornucopias website and I was like, let's just look at some videos and I found this whole like mining thing and I'm not sure if everybody saw, but like I never really noticed it that there's a
Well,
quantisite image.
Josh used it in his video, but you sent it to me before Josh's video. Like you and him are both discovered it, like, or finding it at the same time.
Well,
so maybe it's newish, like newer.
Well, apparently he knew way based on that video. I mean, that seems like he has been holding out on information.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously
I
he's
think
more
the amount
in.
that Josh knows that he's keeping from us is quite a bit.
Yeah, and I think that's not fair, Josh. Josh, I'm calling you out. Spill the beans.
Josh,
We're gonna have to set up a conference.
I'm sure they'll
between
tell you secrets still if you tell us all your secrets.
We're gonna be we're gonna have a influencer conference where you just lay it on me, Kopi, Bor, Faux, whoever else is any Doug Hype. It doesn't matter. We're gonna all get together and you're just gonna spill the beans, bro. You're gonna
yeah, right.
Yeah, now we're here in Taste of Solace. One thing I do want to talk about was that Rob mentioned. Oh, go right ahead. After you.
Yes, one way bottleneck.
Was that he brought up the Season X is what quote unquote Season X is what he brought up in terms of like
that's what he called it, Season X.
Yeah, Season X. So it's all about bringing up leaderboards once like Solace has been released. All the 3 Solaces have been released, and they're able to make sure that they can save all the data and as well that they can actually unlock like different competitions within like not just racing but other things too, like even as far as like gathering stuff, but stuff like it's more specifically like into racing. He was hoping he could do like the top 100 people who can are the best at the racing league and even in per class as well. So and people might be able to get paid rewarded in Kopi, and is what he was saying. So then that's pretty awesome. I will say that I'm very anxious for that to come out once Solace comes out. I know I'm going to be practicing my laps now with all the different classes, not just with A class, because I want to get some Kopi. So if there's a way to win Kopi, you definitely got to start practicing, because you might be rewarded with by the team.
Well, we know for a fact, right, that they're going to be rewarding the X what's the X series called again? The Jester.
The gestures, yeah,
That's only going to be able to be obtained by, I don't know how many they're giving away, but like,
by winning
a
competitions.
certain amount of good racers. So
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
if you think about, rarity, like, let's imagine like 5 years from now that this game is played by, even if it's 100,000 people are playing this game, right? And the Jester was only given in this early period of time to like the best racers. There might only be 100 Jesters in existence. Can you imagine owning one of 100 that are 100,000 people are playing? That's pretty sweet.
yeah. Well, if it's 100, yeah, that, I mean, because yeah, it's not going to be many winners out there,
Yeah,
especially in the beginning, right? So the
yeah.
more gestures, obviously, that are distributed, the less valuable it is. But I mean, honestly, like, I make an argument all the time about even the GTIs, how, if we're hoping to have like half a million, 100,000 to half a million to even a million amount of players in the playing this game, 12,000 assets of the GTI is like very limited,
Yeah,
so
extremely limited.
I can only imagine just only like a dozen to 2 dozen to like under 100 jesters being distributed, because they're going to be
I mean,
distributed
I'm sure it'll be
slowly.
more than that, but like, I guess what we don't know is like, will the Jesters be like, will you be able to win them forever? Like, okay, if you achieve blank, whatever it is in racing, you get a
Mhm.
Jester. Like, so 4 years from now, will you still be able to get a Jester if you're the first to achieve blank? I mean,
I would
that's
hope so.
probably more likely the way it's going to be. If it's not, if they're going to turn off the spigot at some point, then it's going to be pretty rare.
Yeah, I wish I could pick this thing up. Yeah, I'm hopefully I'm one. Hopefully you as well can get it yourself a jester, based on if you can win a competition. Hope we were talking about, like, during the Knights Racing League, about like maybe we should all like make sure that we all don't race against each other. We all like take turns competing so that we all get our own jester. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna probably have to be some like horse trading going on to make sure like you can get that lap time that you need.
yeah, man, we got to do that whole shake and bake. You know what I'm saying?
It's just- you
And
gotta
help
be
each
a
other
Ricky
out.
Bobby.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna put the. You know what we should do one day? We should when I have my get my computer back. We
Yeah.
should put blindfolds on and do a race.
Oh, jeez. And just, yeah, and just feel it out, right? Just like,
Feel it out. That'll be a fun game.
yeah, just use the force.
Well, Eddie, we could probably go on forever, but I think this is a good time to call it and end this week's episode of Round the Corn. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with the people?
Nothing. I'm just, well, not nothing, but like,
I doubt that. I highly doubt you have
no.
nothing left to
So
say.
it's just, again, just the fact that Josh said it uh, at one point during the Kopi Cafe. They're making a forever game. That's kind of what I'm expecting. I think there's going to be consistent releases once a month. I mean, hell, they even released the inventory earlier than they wanted to, which I'm thankful of. They
Sliders
didn't
next
have
month.
to. Yeah, they didn't have to. Yeah, they have the sliders for the avatar creation creator coming out, which is about 50 sliders, which is great. I can't wait to test that out. I'll probably make a stream about that. We'll probably talk about it here on the podcast as well. So I'm really excited for what's to come. I mean, this is a forever game, is what they call it, with monthly releases. I'm just excited, and I
I
can't
have
wait.
a release of our own. I'm cooking up. I don't know. I want to see how the sliders look, but I'm cooking up our first Around the Corn competition prize award game based on the sliders. I need to see how the sliders work to know how I'm going to do it, but I have an idea, and it'll involve the community, and there'll be some Kopi to be won if I can put it together right. So,
Oh, Kopi to be one. Okay, all right.
all right, Eddie, I want to thank the Knights Guild for letting us, be a part of what they've got going on there and letting us kind of use their name and piggyback on the greatness, because we are presented by the Knights Guild. We're in the Knights Guild, and first and foremost, this is a podcast to make sure that people know what's going on there, and there's a lot of great stuff going on there. So definitely make sure you follow the Knights Guild on X. Make sure you join their Discord as well. if you're not already there. Most people are on the Kopi Discord, but like, X Discord has got a lot happening, a lot of really great people that are part of the the leadership there. Like I can't speak highly enough of them. So definitely check them out. Thank you for Kopi Unicorn for the great video that we got to show, the music video that we got to groove out to. That goes a long way to making us look better. Thank you to Rob, Josh, and David, and all the people working on the game. We are really grateful for you guys to be doing that so that we can be doing this. So thanks everyone for watching. See you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Deuces.
This is a total tangent, but do you know the conspiracy theory for Star Wars and Jar Jar Binks?
Yes, I have heard about that.
If you go back and you watch the Star Wars and you think Jar Jar Binks is the Sith Lord, you can't unsee it. Jar Jar Binks, without a doubt, was supposed to be the Sith Lord.
I 100% kind of agree with that. I feel like that's where George Lucas was going with that, because I started rethinking every scene, everything he said, all the he was being clumsy about it, but also it could have been also just like him pretending to be like that clumsy, but using Sith, Jedi or the Force to
what sold it for me was when I saw a clip of that clip with Jar Jar Binks kind of doing the drunken fighting and killing all the robots.
Yes.
And then right next to him was the Kung Fu doing the drunken Kung Fu.
Yes.
And they stood side by side. I'm like, oh my God, Jar Jar Binks is a Kung Fu master.
Yeah, exactly.